We are producing over 400 million tons of plastic every year. This staggering amount is equivalent to the weight of the entire human population. Factories around the world are churning out plastic products at an unprecedented rate, driven by our insatiable demand for convenience and disposability. From packaging to household items, plastic has become an integral part of our daily lives. But this convenience comes at a significant cost. Sadly, less than 10% is recycled. The majority of plastic waste ends up in landfills, where it can take hundreds of years to decompose. Even in recycling facilities, the process is not as efficient as we might hope. Contamination and the complexity of sorting different types of plastics mean that much of what we think is being recycled is actually discarded. This inefficiency contributes to the growing mountains of plastic waste that are becoming a permanent fixture in our environment. Imagine a truckload of plastic being dumped into our oceans every minute. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario, it's a grim reality. Every 60 seconds, the equivalent of a garbage truck full of plastic finds its way into our oceans. This relentless influx of waste is creating vast patches of floating debris, some of which are larger than entire countries. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch, for instance, is a stark testament to the scale of this crisis. That's the reality of our plastic problem. Our oceans, once pristine and teeming with life, are now choked with plastic waste. Beaches that were once idyllic are now littered with debris, and underwater ecosystems are being smothered by our discarded plastics. The visual impact is shocking, but the unseen consequences are even more alarming. Marine life is suffering, and the health of our oceans is in jeopardy. We are drowning in our own waste. Urban areas are not immune to this crisis. Streets, parks, and rivers are often strewn with plastic litter, creating an unsightly and hazardous environment. This waste doesn't just stay where it lands, it travels through waterways, eventually making its way to the sea. The interconnectedness of our ecosystems means that plastic pollution in one area can have far-reaching effects, impacting wildlife and human communities alike. This plastic doesn't just disappear. Unlike organic materials, plastic doesn't biodegrade. Instead, it breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces over time, a process that can take centuries. These fragments, known as microplastics, are now ubiquitous in our environment. They are found in the soil, in the air we breathe, and even in remote areas far from human habitation. The persistence of plastic means that every piece ever produced still exists in some form today. It breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces called microplastics. These tiny particles, often less than 5 millimeters in size, are a growing concern for scientists and environmentalists. Microplastics are not just a visual blight, they pose serious health risks to both wildlife and humans. Research has shown that microplastics can absorb harmful chemicals from the environment, which can then be ingested by marine organisms and, ultimately, by us. These tiny particles are now found everywhere, from the deepest oceans to the food we eat. Studies have detected microplastics in seafood, drinking water, and even in the air. The full extent of their impact on human health is still being studied, but the preliminary findings are concerning. Consuming microplastics can lead to a range of health issues, including inflammation, toxicity, and disruption of the endocrine system. The pervasive presence of microplastics is a stark reminder of the far-reaching consequences of our plastic addiction. The consequences are devastating for our planet and all its inhabitants. Wildlife is particularly vulnerable to plastic pollution. Marine animals such as turtles, dolphins, and seabirds often mistake plastic for food, leading to ingestion and entanglement. This can result in injury, starvation, and death. The impact on biodiversity is profound, as entire species are threatened by the proliferation of plastic in their habitats. The loss of wildlife has cascading effects on ecosystems, disrupting the delicate balance that sustains life on Earth. We must act now before it's too late. The scale of the plastic pollution crisis demands urgent and collective action. Governments, industries, and individuals all have a role to play in addressing this issue. Policy changes such as bans on single-use plastics and incentives for sustainable alternatives are crucial. At the same time, community efforts like beach cleanups and recycling programs can make a significant difference. By reducing our plastic consumption, improving waste management, and supporting innovation in material science, we can turn the tide on plastic pollution. The future of our planet depends on the actions we take today. Plastic's journey to the ocean often begins in our homes. Every day, we use a variety of plastic products without giving much thought to their eventual fate. From the plastic packaging that wraps our food, to the bottles that hold our beverages, these items are a part of our daily lives. But what happens once we discard them? Single-use plastics like bags and bottles are used for a short time and then discarded. These items are designed for convenience, but their impact on the environment is anything but. After serving their brief purpose, they are thrown away, often without a second thought. This convenience comes at a significant cost. Improper waste management allows this plastic to escape into the environment. When trash cans overflow or when litter is carelessly discarded, plastic waste finds its way onto our streets and into our public spaces. This litter is not just an eyesore, it poses a serious threat to wildlife and ecosystems. Wind carries it to rivers and streams where it eventually flows into the ocean. The journey of plastic waste is often aided by natural elements. Wind can pick up lightweight plastic items and carry them over long distances. Rain can wash plastic debris into storm drains, which lead to rivers and streams. These waterways act as conduits, transporting plastic waste towards larger bodies of water. Once in the ocean, plastic can travel thousands of miles, carried by currents. The ocean's currents are powerful forces that can move plastic debris across vast distances. A plastic bottle discarded on a beach in one country can end up on the shores of another, thousands of miles away. This global movement of plastic waste highlights the interconnectedness of our planet's ecosystems. It accumulates in massive garbage patches, swirling in our oceans like giant plastic soups. These garbage patches are formed by the convergence of ocean currents, which trap plastic debris in specific areas. The most famous of these is the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a vast expanse of floating plastic waste that covers an area twice the size of Texas. These patches are not solid islands of trash, but rather a dispersed collection of plastic particles that can be difficult to clean up. The impact of plastic pollution on marine life is devastating. Marine animals such as turtles, dolphins, and seabirds often mistake plastic debris for food. Ingesting plastic can lead to malnutrition, intestinal blockages, and even death. Additionally, animals can become entangled in larger pieces of plastic, such as fishing nets and six-pack rings, which can cause injury or prevent them from moving freely. Over time, larger pieces of plastic break down into smaller fragments known as microplastics. These tiny particles, often less than 5 millimeters in size, are pervasive in the marine environment. Microplastics can be ingested by a wide range of marine organisms, from plankton to whales, and can accumulate in the food chain, ultimately reaching humans. Efforts to combat plastic pollution are underway around the world. Beach cleanups organized by volunteers and environmental organizations play a crucial role in removing plastic waste from coastal areas. These initiatives not only help to clean up the environment but also raise awareness about the issue of plastic pollution and encourage more sustainable practices. Recycling is another important strategy in the fight against plastic pollution. By properly sorting and processing plastic waste, we can reduce the amount of plastic that ends up in the environment. However, recycling alone is not enough. We must also reduce our reliance on single-use plastics and seek out more sustainable alternatives. Innovations in biodegradable and reusable products offer hope for a more sustainable future. From compostable packaging to reusable shopping bags, these alternatives can help to reduce the amount of plastic waste we generate. By making conscious choices in our daily lives, we can all contribute to the effort to protect our oceans and the planet. Protecting our oceans from plastic pollution is essential for the health of marine ecosystems. Healthy oceans support a diverse array of life, from vibrant coral reefs to abundant fish populations. By addressing the issue of plastic pollution, we can help to ensure that these ecosystems continue to thrive for future generations. Education and awareness are key components of the solution. Community programs that teach people about the impact of plastic pollution and how to reduce their plastic footprint can make a significant difference. By spreading knowledge and encouraging action, we can work together to create a cleaner, healthier environment. Global cooperation is also crucial in addressing plastic pollution. International agreements and policies aimed at reducing plastic waste and promoting sustainable practices are essential for making a lasting impact. By working together, countries can share resources, knowledge, and strategies to tackle this global issue. The journey from land to ocean is a complex one, but with concerted effort, we can change the course. By taking action at the individual, community, and global levels, we can reduce plastic pollution and protect our oceans for future generations. Together, we can create a cleaner, healthier, and more sustainable world. Marine animals are particularly vulnerable to plastic pollution. Every year, millions of tons of plastic waste find their way into our oceans, creating a toxic environment for marine life. This pollution not only affects the water quality but also poses a significant threat to the creatures that call the ocean their home. From the tiniest plankton to the largest whales, no marine species is immune to the dangers of plastic pollution. Sea turtles often mistake plastic bags for jellyfish, a favorite food. These gentle creatures, which have roamed the oceans for millions of years, are now facing a new and deadly threat. When a sea turtle ingests plastic, it can cause blockages in their digestive system, leading to malnutrition, internal injuries, and often a slow and painful death. The sight of a sea turtle struggling with a plastic bag is a poignant reminder of the far-reaching consequences of our plastic use. Seabirds accidentally feed plastic pieces to their chicks, leading to starvation. These birds, which rely on the ocean for their food, are increasingly finding their meals contaminated with plastic. When adult seabirds bring back food for their young, they often unknowingly include plastic debris. The chicks, unable to digest the plastic, suffer from malnutrition and can eventually die from starvation. This tragic cycle highlights the pervasive nature of plastic pollution and its impact on the next generation of marine life. Whales and dolphins can become entangled in discarded fishing nets, causing injury or even death. These intelligent and social animals, known for their complex behaviors and communication, are often found trapped in ghost nets, abandoned or lost fishing gear that continues to drift through the ocean. Entanglement can lead to severe injuries, infections, and ultimately, the inability to swim or feed properly. The sight of a majestic whale or playful dolphin ensnared in a net is a stark illustration of the human impact on marine ecosystems. The impact of plastic on marine life is heartbreaking, and a stark reminder of our responsibility to protect our oceans. Every piece of plastic that ends up in the ocean has the potential to harm marine creatures. From ingestion to entanglement, the consequences are dire. As stewards of the planet, it is our duty to reduce plastic waste, support cleanup efforts, and advocate for policies that protect marine environments. By making conscious choices in our daily lives, we can help ensure a healthier future for our oceans and the incredible life they sustain.